Okay. It is my promise that I will bring you experts in the area which I don't know much, but I know this expertise is going to help you scale your business with ease. And today I'm keeping my promise. I'm getting you the expert. It is one of the best I have known in the field of copywriting. People say, okay, there are so many professions, they are replaced by chat gpt, and why do we need this profession, why? And that's what they talk about, email marketing, and they talk about many other things. But let me tell you, it's my experience. You give the prompt, and any you try it on chat gpt, you try it on gemini, or you try on various platforms. It's a canned response, it is mechanical response, and it's the same response for everyone. It's not telling you your identity, your brand. And for that, we need human touch, because we are talking human to human, we are not talking human to robot or robot to human. And who is better person to tell than Samantha? And she is a copywriter. She is in this field for a, yeah, for a long time. You are going to learn from the best. So without further delay, let me invite Sam. I think you go with Sam. Sam is better, right? Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So just
Sam is
wanted to
perfect. Thank you.
yeah, tell our audience. I mean, I want to know your story. How did you get into this field? Just want to know more about you and your background.
Yeah, and that's a great question because copywriters can come from a lot of different backgrounds. Personally, I come from a sales background. So, after graduating with degrees in marketing and international business, went into a sales career. I have sold in a very variety of industries, including financial sector, IT. I was a tech salesperson. And then went through some sales leadership training and ultimately ended up in sales research and IT research. So when I became a copywriter full time back in 2019 and I left my last company that I was working with full time, I bring with me then the context of trying to sell with all of the copy that I
Okay, and
write.
there sales is a really quite dynamic and exciting thing. So do you think copywriting is also, it is same challenging or same dynamic? What is your experience compared to sales and copywriting? What are the differences and what are the commonalities in these two fields?
So where I was working before, I was really trying to close the sale all the time. That was my job. That's how I got paid, was if I closed the sale. So it was a lot of different channels, including talking to people on the phone, providing a very specific like customer experience. So it's different with copywriting, but also the same is that I'm still using a lot of different channels, including ads and emails and all sorts of things. But instead of selling for someone else and for a company, I'm selling for my own company. And then as a copywriter, I step into other people's businesses and companies and help them sell using their words on the internet. So there are a lot of similarities, but I think the biggest difference is that I'm so much closer to it now because it's my business and I really know the people that I'm also helping them
I have
sell
a
using
question.
copy.
I always launched evergreen because I never liked live launch. But past couple of offers, I did live launch.
Mm-hmm.
And before doing live launch, I studied a lot about launching. What is a launch? And I went through lots of trainings, lots of courses. And most of the training and courses, they said the same thing, that people wonder why my launch didn't go that well as I planned, or why it flopped, and various things. And people start complaining about their strategies and their methods and so many things. But the common problem is the messaging. And say it is the messaging is the problem. They are not telling people about their identity. They are not actually telling their brand properly. So what is your opinion about that. So what is the brand? What is brand?
The brand, honestly, I think of the brand as the vibe. What is the overall feeling that your company is giving is your brand. So, for example, you can probably picture a specific brand in your head right now, whether that's, probably
Mm-hmm.
one of the most famous ones is the McDonald's brand. Even if you don't see the golden arches M, you could see those two colors next to each other and know what brand it is. Or you would see Ronald McDonald or the Hamburglar and know what brand it is. Or you would see a photo of the inside of one of their dining rooms and know the brand, even if you don't see the name of the brand. So that's incredibly strong brand recognition. And it's because they create this experience throughout. But even if you didn't see the brand name and you heard the words, I'm loving it, you would know that it was McDonald's. So that's a good example of the brand is not just the visual brand, it's not just the photos of the brand, but it's also the words that go into your slogan and into your overall messaging. So when we think of brand, a lot of times we think of just a logo, but your logo is not your brand. Your brand is this overarching vibe that you give off that makes you
So how can you
recognizable a
convey your
mile away.
values in just a tagline? Because you said the messaging is important, but tagline is so short. How can you convey your values?
Um, it is tough. And I think a lot of people start with an I help statement. We've heard it before. I help blank do blank so they can blank. But let's say that it's I help entrepreneurs create courses so they can have passive income. It's it's not strong, but it's a good place to start. So then how can we make that more brief? What can we leave out? We can leave ourselves out of it because it's not about I help and what I do. It's about what, like, the hero of your story is your clients. So then you can say something like create passive income through course creation. And we can make it even shorter. And then that's where we get to start adding some personality. Like, say that people are, maybe the focus is like the passive income and making a lot of money. We could say something that's catchy, like massive passive courses. And that can be your slogan. And that's what you're known for, is selling massive passive income course creation. So, but we can really condense it and make it punchy. So there's a lot of ways to go about it, but it comes down to knowing who you are first. And those I help statements, while I hope to never see another one published on somebody's website, are really a helpful jumping off point, because if you can say in one sentence what you do and who you do it for, that's a powerful place to be. And it is the first step to creating something that
Yeah,
is more
that's
personal
really
and more
good.
recognizable.
And I also want to ask you that many times people think that they need a copywriter or someone to create their brand only at the beginning. But someone was asked in a question that
Mm-hmm.
number one in their field, and they said, why do you still advertise? And he said, okay, we are in a plane right now, right? And if the plane stopped working, where will we be? He said, okay, we'll be drowning, we'll be wherever in the ocean or land and all. So he said it is exactly the same thing. If I stop advertising, if I stop tweaking my message, and if I stop doing any those advances, I will be drowning. So what is your experience? Who generally uses the
Mm-hmm.
means brand advocate, the starting business, or someone at the middle level, or someone who has already achieved whatever goals they want, who want to who who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is the folks who have been in business for a while. They know themselves. They've probably failed at a few things, which is good because failure teaches us what we need to do and what we need to avoid, right? So it's great when people have been in business for a couple of years, they've tried new things, and they really know where they want their business to go. They have a lot of clarity about who they are and what they provide, but also who their ideal clients are and where their clients' needs meet what they are able to provide. And when we have that clear string, that's where we're able to write copy that really resonates with people. Because if we don't know both sides of that equation, then we're just putting words on a page and trying. And that's how you start a business, but that's not how you become wildly successful. So I work with people who understand what they can offer, what their people need, and how they bridge that gap. I do that in a couple of ways. I can do it as more of a consultancy basis where people work with me monthly to write their own copy, but they get to become really good at writing their own copy because I help them formulate their message, then they go and write it, and then we go in and edit it. So they're creating really positive habits where they get to learn how to sell in their copy. Or I work with people who are launching something big and they need somebody to just do it for them. They know that they can write it. Their writing has gotten them this far, but they also understand the value of their time and that they're better spent serving their clients and having me write the copy. And that's where I'll do done for you copy services. So that's everything from ads to emails to landing pages,
Yeah,
websites, and
that I
everything in
totally agree
between.
with you, because every time we take any project at home, my husband gets really excited. He said, "Okay, I will learn and I will do it myself." And I always oppose. No, it's always better to hire
Yep.
someone who is expert at it. It's not the time to learn because you and apply it, because by the time you learn and apply it and all, you are wasting so much of your time, and still you will be new and novice, and you won't be,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, performing at the level when you the result you get after hiring an expert. So that's true in every area. It's every area, and basically it is good
Yes.
to learn from mistakes, but someone who already is
Yeah.
accomplished and they have done lots of mistakes and they have learned and they have achieved the success which you want to achieve, why not to hire them? That's perfectly right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
perfect analogy too.
there are so many kinds of audiences. For example, some platforms are just B2B, some platforms are B2C. So there are different platforms. Every platform has different audience. Out of that audience, there are different personalities. Means, for example, you take DISC. That so someone is driver. Someone is actually
Mm-hmm.
social. So how can you have the consistent brand messaging to all platforms and all kinds of audiences?
Yeah. So it's important to know, again, both sides of the equation because you might have one brand that's serving multiple people. For example, again, I'll use a different restaurant example, but some restaurants cater. And so you have two audiences that might go to your website, the people who are looking to put in a catering order and the people who want to know what's on the menu because they're eating there tonight. So you've got two different audiences, but at the end of the day, like one company that's popular that does that is Chipotle or Panera Bread. So if you go on their website, you wouldn't be surprised to see two calls to action that lead you to two separate sides of the website, but you're still going to see pictures of, I don't know, rice and beans and whatever at Chipotle, or bagels and danishes and coffee at Panera. So it's the same thing where they know what they have to offer is a certain kind of food. They just know that they're going to package it and create packages that are for two different audiences, individuals and groups. So it's the same thing with a service-based business. Creating their consistent brand messaging is it's important to know yourself first and what you can offer. And then if you offer both done for you and courses, or you're serving a high ticket audience and a low ticket audience, you're still, there's a theme that you're offering. So it might be bookkeeping services. You're offering bookkeeping services to people who have companies that need it. And then on the other hand, you have a course to teach people how to do their bookkeeping if they're not ready to invest in a done for you bookkeeper. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have the same imagery and concepts that you're talking about, numbers and knowing your numbers as a business owner and how important that is. So we're then maintaining that brand messaging because we know who we are as a core and then thinking
Okay,
about our
so
audiences.
I understand done for you means you are doing everything for them, and you are basically pouring your expertise and you are creating the copy. But still, I don't understand how can you help others write better copy? Because is it you give template, or what kind of roadmap do you give? Because it's still not clear to me.
Mhm.
So will you please explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's what I do through my copy on demand. So, people pay for access to my brain on a weekly basis. So, that means that at any time throughout the week, they can submit a piece of copy either that they've written or that they want to write to me. And I reply, my designated day is Tuesdays. I reply once a week on Tuesday and either edit the copy that they have, and then I create a video to go along with it that says, "Hey, Sue, I saw that you used these words here. This is what I would do instead, and here's why. Because sales psychology tells us X, Y, and Z, or because we need to make this formatting bigger because it's going to do something else for us." So what happens when people have access to me on that weekly basis is then they start to anticipate what I'm going to say. So before they send me a piece of copy, they can make edits and they say, "Hey, I already changed the header. I think this is a lot better. Tell me what you think." So it's creating these positive habits in their copywriting that helps them become better copywriters in their business. And it's not a course, it's not examples of somebody else's business, it's on their own business. So they're seeing how it comes together in real time and it makes sense. And they're not wasting time learning a concept and then putting it to use. They're putting it to use as they learn the concept so that they become better copywriters and ultimately end up
So
selling more in
just
their businesses.
want to know that how can audience use copywriting in their customer journey? Because we hear a lot of things like funnel, customer
Mm-hmm.
journey, and all. So at each level, it is a
Mm-hmm.
different copywriting. How can you apply those principles?
Yeah. So I think at every stage you're asking for something. You're just asking for something different. So in an ad, you're probably asking them to click here. And then they end up on an opt in page or a funnel page, and it says opt in here or join the waitlist or download the PDF. And then they get emails that say, "Here's your download, click here." Or the follow-up emails say, "Learn more about my services." And then they get to that services page and the services page says, "Let's schedule a consult or buy the service or buy the template or buy the thing." So at every stage, and the difference between content and copy is that content is typically educational and entertaining. Copy is written for people and inspiring them to take action. So, how do we use copy at every stage in the journey? Is that we're asking for something at every stage in the journey, and we're creating words that go around that ask that inspire people to take action because we're telling them not just to do the thing, but why they should do it and how it's going to make their life better. And that's really
So,
what copy is.
so basically, in general, how can people improve their copy? Because I understand that when they're part of your membership, they start thinking that way. But what other resources do you have
Mm-hmm.
that in general people can use to improve their copywriting?
Yeah, so resources that I have available, I have a few free things, including guides to writing flash sales or challenges. A lot of people run free challenges. So I've got guides on my website, and then I also have templates that are plug and play that people can use to just put their information in, and then they can schedule the emails to go out. They're super easy. Um, but other resources that people can use are there's websites like HubSpot collects a lot of data about what customers are responding to, and having that information to inform how you write is really important. For example, um, when you look at websites like that, they'll tell you you need a call to action above the fold. And what that means is a button that people can click within the first scroll of your website. Otherwise, the chances of people clicking through anything on your website go down by, like, I don't have the data off the top of my head, but it's a lot. It's by like 70%. So when people send me a website and they say, Sam, this isn't converting, I say, well, how could it? There's no button. There's some things that are available on the internet that are going to give you tips and tricks that seem really fundamental, but even the best writers don't see it because they're too close into it. So a lot of times the biggest resource that you can look for is to ask somebody else, even if that's not a copywriter, but to hand it to your mom or your daughter or your partner and say, hey, if I told you to get to the checkout page from this site in 10 seconds or less, go. And see if they can do it. Because if they can't do it, or if you hand them a website or a sales page and say, can you tell me what I'm selling and why I should want it? And then set a timer for 20 seconds and take the sales page away from them. Do they get it? Because if they don't, your customers won't. You have to make it so easy for people to buy. And there's a ton of resources with a lot of data out there, but sometimes the easiest thing to do is just get it out of your head and
Yeah,
onto a page and then ask somebody else
I
and
remember
see if it's
actually
as
when I
clear as you think
started
it is.
email marketing initially, and I would write tons of value added emails. I would say, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm creating,
Mm-hmm.
this is so nice and all, and I never put call to action. You said the button is missing. How you and I used to say,
Yeah.
I'm giving them so much of information. How come no transaction is happening? Because I was expecting them
Yep.
to come and ask me. But if I myself, if I don't tell them
Mm-hmm.
about my offers, how are they going to come and ask me? Because if I'm just pouring information, if I'm just educating them, and if I'm not guiding them where to go next, it seemed to be no brainer. But when I was new, when I was getting started, I was thinking, no,
Yeah.
I'm telling them so much, so they will come and ask me, because somehow I think I was new at the business. I didn't want to get rejected. So I think lots of inhibition I had. And then I just started, yeah, putting the button, as you mentioned, started putting the call to action. Things started
Mm-hmm.
happening. Yeah, but yeah, I think if I had the mentorship well in time, I could have saved tremendous amount of time, and I could have created revenue way faster, and I would have added more value to other people's lives, because your offers are the best service you can do
Mm-hmm.
to other people. And see, means for you copywriting, it's
Yeah.
really easy because that is your passion. But for some people, it's gonna be very very
Mm-hmm.
hard, because they may not be thinking the way you are thinking, because many times we just think, whenever we create and we want people, okay, they will get everything by osmosis, but it doesn't happen that way. So that's where, yeah, something which is very easy for you,
Yeah.
you can share your expertise, and something which is very hard for them to create, they are very happy to pay you for that. And it's a win-win situation. So
Yes.
means
Yes.
selling is not a sale is not a four-letter word, even though it is four-letter word, but it is not a four-letter word, because it is creating win-win situation. So
Yeah, 100%. And you made a good point there that you often feel like you might be saying the same thing over and over, but there's also so much of an opportunity to be honest with yourself and looking at how many people are opening my emails. Because typically the open rate is going to be between 40 and 60% for a small business. So that means half of the people who are on your list didn't see what you had to say. And then, if we're being really honest, how often do you open an email and not read the whole thing? So if you're hiding your call to action at the bottom, of course nobody's going to click on it because they didn't get to the bottom of the email. So that brings, say you have 100 people on your list, maybe 10 people even saw the link and even fewer clicked on it. So then the kind of coming back to what you said is that there's a quote, and I'm going to say it imperfectly, but it says that marketing is saying something a dozen times, messaging is saying the same thing a dozen times. So when we repeat our messaging is when we repeat ourselves, we become repeatable to our clients. And that's the goal, is that when we start to have a word association, if somebody is a strategist and somebody says, I just feel like I don't have any strategy in my business, that Susie strategist comes to mind because she has said that she does strategy over and over and over so that they become recognizable. And that's such an important part of our copy, is that we have to remember that it's okay to repeat ourselves because nobody cares about our business as much as we do. And so when you repeat yourself, you become recognizable to the people who are reading the things that you put out. So even if you feel like, gosh, I said this and I put a link in an email 2 weeks ago, you're the only person
You're
still thinking
absolutely
about that
right. And
email from
repeating
two
is so
weeks ago.
important because especially social media algorithm is changing so much because most of the social media platforms they are focusing on ads. So the even though you have maybe thousands of followers on any platform, not everyone is going to see whatever you have created. And even if they see, not everyone is going to read and not
Mm-hmm.
everyone is going to remember. And I don't know the numbers, but previously it was number
Exactly.
like if you have to listen any particular message for 7 times to take an action. Or now I think last time I heard it was like 21
Mm-hmm.
time. I really don't know the real number, but the one thing I can surely say, more than one or
Mm-hmm.
many times. That's what I can say. So repetition is so
Yeah.
important. It is really
Yes.
important. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And even launching multiple times. Just because somebody didn't buy doesn't mean that they didn't buy right now. Maybe they were waiting to see how other people liked the thing that you sold. And then when you relaunch, they'll say, okay, that actually looked like it was a lot of fun. I'm going to join this time. So it's repeating 7 times, 21 times, but then also doing it again 6 months later and becoming known for that thing.
No, no, I totally agree
Yeah,
with you because I wanted to start affiliate
yeah.
program, and one of person actually in my circle of influence only. I know that he sets affiliate program, and I went to his webinar, and I think I went to his webinar 2 3 times, and I said, okay, one day I will start. Then I tried to start affiliate program on my own, and then I thought, oh, it is really a pain in whatever. And I think after knowing almost like 1 year, I signed up for his program because I think that time I had a
Hmm.
high ticket offer, so that means it made sense to have affiliate program. So and initially I had just low ticket or mid ticket offer, so it didn't make much sense because even affiliates should have some kind of incentive to promote your offers. So when the timing was ready, I just approached him and I got started, and
Yes.
he had actually raised his prices. So I said, "Oh my goodness, I attended your webinar with this price, and now I'm ready, and you doubled your price." But anyway, means I think I was ready, and that
Yeah.
time only I approached him and I got started. So yeah, I mean, you really don't know. You're totally me. I totally agree with you. Means launch, relaunch, and whenever people are ready, yeah, they will come and then they will get started. But meanwhile, what you can do that you can create your brand, you can create means basically the same messaging, and you let people know that you are an expert, you become an authority, and of course your business will scale, right? Yeah. So
Hmm.
if you want
Yep.
to
That's the idea.
add anything or if you want to give any message to our audience, yeah, I just want, yeah, take it from here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of resources available on my Instagram that are obviously free, on my website that are available. We'll be sure to include in the show notes the link to Copy on Demand, as well as a link to where you can go to find me and work with me one on one. But if you're listening and have your phone out, you can find me on Instagram at nomad.copy. And my website is
So the best way to contact you
nomadcopyagency.com.
is on your website and on Instagram, right? Yeah, and So any
Yes.
final message you want to give to our audience?
It's okay to be repetitive. You're the one who feels repetitive. People probably
Yeah,
don't think that
absolutely
you are.
right. And so you means basically I know you have a membership and you have various resources. Any other offers you want to mention about done for you means how long does it take, or just any other offers you want to mention? Yeah, please let us know, because
Mhm.
don't leave a stone unturned, because we want to know everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who are just starting out and not ready to make an investment into done for you copy and still want to hold that skilled close to the vest, I do have templates. I have templates for all kinds of emails, and I've got more coming this fall. But some of them are challenge emails, free flash sale email sequences, Black Friday sales sequences, also for people who have affiliate programs. You've set your affiliate program so you know how many emails you have to write to invite people to your affiliate program, and then reminding your affiliates of what to promote. And there's a lot of emails that go into that. So I've got those templates as well. There's a lot in the template shop. So that's available for those who want to do done with you copy. I've mentioned copy on demand, where I help you become a better copywriter over time. Then I've got, if you've just got a copy task list and you want to dip your toes into what it's like to work with a copywriter, that's called Can You Write This For Me? It's at canyoowritethis4me.com. And yes, it's on demand service. So you just submit things to canyoowritethis4me.com and I email them
That's
back to
really
you about
cool.
a week later.
I really like it. Can you
Um,
write it for
and
me? Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
nice.
time based. Yeah. It's one of those ideas that I came up with in a weekend and ran with it, and it's been a lot of fun to just do little things here and there because it is a good way to try out a copywriter. And then beyond that, I've got the larger packages of VIP days and packages that are custom pricing based on what you need for your launch or your website project. So I've got something, a little bit of something for everyone, but really my goal is to help people sell more um,
You
and
know, I
see
never
ROI
ran
from their copy
challenges, and I was
investment.
thinking of doing challenges for my membership. To members means basically so that they can run challenges for their offers. So you want to elaborate more about challenges? How frequently
Mm-hmm.
challenges are good? Like, do you recommend monthly or quarterly? And can you give us some more insight on that?
Challenges are a great way to build your list before a launch. They're really fun, and you can do them in a lot of different ways. But typically, you want to help people take the first step to solving a problem, but not solve it all the way so that you position yourself as the answer to that problem. So, for example, something that I saw somebody run at the end of last year, they're a bookkeeper, and they say 5 days to get your books in order before the end of the year so that you can hand them off to your accountant in or do your own taxes in Q1. So every day for a week, they would have one small task that their people did, and they had like office hours where they would get on for an hour every day and walk people through it. But then by day 2 or 3, they started to say, and I can do this for you. We can do a books cleanup, and this is available. And then day 5, like the final task was hire somebody to make sure it's done right. So it perfectly positioned them where they were thinking about all of the documents that they needed to get. It was probably stressing them out. They were starting to fall behind. And then they were perfectly positioned right there to catch all of these people who needed help with their bookkeeping. So that's an idea of how a challenge works. What's also great about challenges is once you've run them once or twice, you can make them evergreen, where people can opt in and then they just get the email. You don't have to do any sort of live component. And then by day 2 or 3, because you've just got a drip sequence, by day 2 or 3, they start to hear about your service or the next thing that they can do to work with you. And you can set it up as evergreen if you have an evergreen offer. So yeah, there's a lot of options of things that you can do with courses. They can be or with challenges. They can be 5 days. They can be 3 days. They can be whatever you want them to be. but there's a lot of, because you're doing something daily, there's a lot of show up reminders and follow-ups and different things. So there's a lot of emails in
So
there,
I
and
think
that's
that
where
is my
the
next
idea for the
project, and I
template
will
came
take your
from.
help there for sure. So I really want to thank you. Thank you for coming over here. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you for telling us what copywriting is and how we can improve our copywriting. And surely means I know our audience is surely blessed. And I really want to thank you. And also, I'm setting up a collaborators directory on our membership website, and I will send you about that also. So you just mention which are the areas you are ready to collaborate with, and how we can help each other out, and yeah, we can take it from there. And yeah, totally thankful. Really
Yeah.
appreciate you being here and yeah, telling us everything how we can improve our messaging and brand and copywriting. Thank you. Copy on demand and yeah, write it for me. Everything. I'm just going to go through everything. Means basically all the show notes. Personally, I'm going to read and I'm going to apply to myself. And surely my communities also will be totally excited. Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, actually, I stopped the recording and I don't know. Means basically, maybe I got. I okay. Yeah, let me just go through again. Yeah, and no, 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 again because if I haven't done it, then basically, and my VA will do the reel from here. Generally, I used to record promotional reels separately from the podcast, but my VA does all the editing and all, and she will create a reel from here and promotional and all. So we don't need to do that. But if you want, I can do that. Otherwise, I think she is capable of doing that, so that's not a problem. Sure, sure. I will go through it and I'll get back to you. Yeah. And I'll put everything and um, she will be publishing next week. So and whenever it is published and all, I'll keep you in loop. And once it is published, actually it will go directly on our membership site. But there are a lot of other formalities. I'll just let. You. Thank you. Take care. Bye.